Hello and welcome back to Fiend Film Reviews, or whatever I'm calling it. I think I'm just going to call it Fiend Film Reviews. I have been very interested in doing film reviews for quite some time, and on the spirit of the last video I made, I think I made it on, what's it called, Weapons. Weapons was an alright film. It wasn't my favorite. It was a very good horror film, had very good build-up. Definitely not my favorite style of horror film. But today we're going to be talking about Warfare, another movie with just one name, a very similar name to Weapons. And this is an A24 film. Let me pop up an actual wiki article in the background so I can read off of it too in here. And this is just going to be like I did the last one, just a spur of the moment. I just watched this one, so it's a little bit easier to remember what happened in it. So Warfare is a 2025 war film written and directed by Ray Mendoza, a Navy SEAL, and Alex Garland. I believe Alex Garland is not, but he is of 28 Days Later fame, 28 Years Later, and Sunshine, as well as a few other movies. So he's kind of like not like a found film guy, but he is similar. He's close to found film footage type person. So, this movie kind of encompasses a 2006 battle for Ramadi, or Battle of Ramadi. It takes place on November 19th, 2006. The script is written and put together by testimonies by its writer, Ray Mendoza, and it has an ensemble cast according to Wikipedia. D. Farawunatai, I don't know how to say that, Will Poulter as the main two guys, and then you've got Cosmo Jarvis of the, what is that? It's not the Samurai. It's a Shogun show. It's a very good show. I really like that actor. He plays a sniper. Finn Bennett, Joseph Quinn, Charles Melton, all these guys. These people I don't even know, but the two I do know are Will Poulter and Cosmo Jarvis. As I've seen a good amount of them. So where's this film take place? It's in Iraq. So during the Iraq invasion, this movie did exceptional. I really enjoy it. Take a sip of some water here. I think they did an amazing job. Obviously, this film got pretty good reviews, pretty good reception. I didn't know it came out. It seems like it didn't do as well in the box office, but war films never do. And it's a nice change of pace for war films as they've been coming out recently. Quite a few, and I'm going to try to cover as many of these modern war films as I can. When I look at war films or movies like this, I'm looking at history, I'm looking at facts, I'm looking at realism. There's definitely a case to be made when you're watching a movie like Starship Troopers. I love the aesthetic, the setting, all that, but it doesn't need to be realistic. It doesn't need to be pulling me in like this one did. But this one, I came in expecting that, and it starts out very well. So essentially, all the guys, there's, I believe, Alpha 1 platoon and Alpha 2 platoon. They're make up one whole group of Navy SEALs, and these guys split up. At the beginning, they're watching this little dance, like little kind of like lady dancing or doing some kind of like stretches for like a workout film, and they're all dancing and having a good time. You get to see all the actors together for the first time and the last time. They're all together in one happy group, and then after that, it cuts to complete darkness, silence, as these Alpha 1 platoon moves in on a new house to basically recon a position. Their objective is fairly vague for this mission, as they don't really seem to have a target in mind. They're looking for essentially anyone who may be a target or potentially cause some damage to them in the future. So they're just kind of a recon group. And it shows a very interesting dynamic between three different forms of, or actually four different forms of military communication. So you have your translators, these guys Farid and Sadar. They're Afghani or Iraqis in this case. And then you have observation teams. You have a sniper recon support team. There's something called Angelico, which is like Air Navy or Air Naval Gun Liaison Company, is what it says here. And then the obviously leading members of the group itself. So that would be Mendoza and the other actor, Will Poulter. So those two guys are the leaders of the soldiers themselves. They have a detachment of some special forces that are specifically designed for air recon, air support, close air support, all that stuff. Then they also have their translators, and then they have their recon group, which is this two sniper guys. So it's a very interesting movie. It shows this level of military that I think a lot of people don't understand. And I'm not a military member and I never served, but I do have an interest in a fascination with it. So I do understand quite a bit what's going on. And I will try to avoid being an armchair general in this case, but I think that the movie does so well because it's done by an actual person who served. So the person, Ray Mendoza, actually had some experience, actually the experience. This is his experience, and he knows quite a bit. And it seems like he was very active in getting everything right in this film. So from uniforms to equipment to laser night vision goggles, all these different types of things, they're all actively being used properly. Quite a bit of different kits. You can see these guys are carrying like 10 to fucking, not even 10, what am I thinking, like 50, 80 pounds of gear, more than that, definitely. And they all have multiple bags on, huge backpacks full of gear, just to show how much they actually had to bring into that battle, which they didn't even plan on battling. They essentially were there to recon and gather information for their push from, I believe it was Bravo Company. I don't believe that the Bravo Company was Navy SEAL members, but they may have been. They probably were Navy SEALs as well. So there's two different attacks going on at the same time. And so as the film is progressing, you get to watch them kind of break into these local Iraqis' houses and take it over. And it shows it from their perspective, where it doesn't make it seem like the Americans are good guys or bad guys. It's just kind of like a in the middle thing. Like, we need to take your house. Sorry, it happened to be your house. And you can see the anger and the frustration and the fear in these people's faces as the Americans just come in with like flashlights and heavy weapons, and they're banging down a wall to get to the second floor. There's like a family that lives there, has been walled off. So they immediately cut to the day, and you can see the people walking by, and there's gathering like a little market down the street. And the sniper group have put a hole in the wall so that they can actually see through the wall. They have a little sledgehammer, and they smash a hole in, and they're scoping out this position. And the movie does a really good job of showing you that the enemy knows they're there. As I'm watching it, I was thinking that maybe the people's house that they broke into, because they have no recon, they have no intel on these people, they were likely somebody important in the local group of people in this area. So, for example, it could have been a local lieutenant or sergeant or something like that, but they are inside his house. And obviously he has no capabilities to protect himself or try to stop these Navy SEALs. And if he tried, he'd die. So there's two males, their wives, and a few kids as the, I guess, Iraqi hostages, but they're not really being held at gunpoint at any time. They're just kind of sitting in their rooms, relaxing, or stressed out, but they're chilling. And so essentially the recon team is scouting out the position. And they keep making a really good point to show that the Iraqis see them. They are very well aware of this area because this is their hometown. This is their home turf. If you wonder why I take so many sips of water, it's just because I need to keep my tooth wet. There's a little bit of surgery I had, so don't worry about that. But anyways, after a few, these guys, this movie's done in a very slow pacing. You can see them switch off the sniper rifle between one guy. He does a really good job. The actor from Shogun, Cosmo, he does a really good job showing how stressful and tiring it is to hold that sniper rifle up at ready, writing notes and doing all this stuff, not moving an inch, not breathing heavy, not doing anything. And so he takes a minute to go stretch and like reflect himself, and his partner takes over. And it's very quickly established that the buddy is either newer or less experienced, or either that or he's afraid. But he sees a group of guys pull up to this building, kind of like a central warehouse building. And he sees them poking out their heads multiple times, and then a blue truck comes up, or a blue car, after the local alarm system goes off, basically telling all the people that they're going on a jihad and that they should get inside if they don't want to be a part of the combat. So there's this local area siren telling everybody, and the two Iraqi soldiers come upstairs to be like, hey, shit's about to go down. And just want to let you guys know that we should probably get the heck out of here. So they kind of decide that they might start ramping stuff up, but they still want to stay here. As this continues, that blue car pulls up. The four guys of it get out of the car, and one of them in the back pulls out a PKM, which establishes right away that this is going to get hot, and there's going to be some conflict here. And as soon as he sees him, he should have shot, which he doesn't. He doesn't because of whatever reason. His two comrades make fun of him for it, kind of blast him, and then they switch back to the original sniper. He gets back on the gun, and immediately the other sniper tries to go take a piss. And when they do that, they chuck the enemy Iraqis. I'm going to mix them up between Afghanistan and Iraq. Similar, two different wars at the same time. But the Iraqi throws a hand grenade in the room. True to form, these guys react very slow because they did not expect a grenade to pop in that room. They roll. Luckily, the sniper, the main sniper there, Cosmo, he rolls out of the way. He gets hit by a little bit of shrapnel in the arm. And the grenade effects are awesome in that movie. There's no explosion. There's no, not like a flaming explosion. The room's not on fire and they're all burning to death. No, it's an impulse. It's like a blast. It doesn't do anything other than concuss the few of the guys in there and shoot some shrapnel at them. Essentially what a real frag would do. So they roll out of there as quickly as they can. One of the guys, Tommy, I believe, he's laying down some fire, and they get out of there. And this is where the movie does a really good job. It shows the confusion and the chaos and the fear of just one small engagement. This ambush, just a grenade tossed in the room, then they all freak out. And these are Navy SEALs. You think they're the best of the best. Definitely triggered them, and it starts to get pretty heated, and they're on the second floor of a building. So they decide, quickly, let's get out of here. We're going to evac our guy, Elliot, who's the sniper that got hurt. Casevac is essentially a health-based, like designed for people injured. So if a person gets hit or killed, you'll Casevac. Or I don't think it counts for a death, but if they're injured, they get Casevac. And so they call in multiple different types of guys. Are calling in different information. The leader there, Will, is communicating with the other leader of Alpha 2, and then you've got Ray Mendoza, who's communicating with the command, and then you have the air asset guys communicating with overhead air assets. So there's all kinds of communication going on quickly. They establish in about 10 minutes they'll have a Bradley transport coming in to pick them up, or an APC, and so they get ready to exfil this building with their guy, Elliot. His name's Elliot in the movie. And as they get ready, you can start to see that everyone is very shook. And the two Iraqis are told to get in the front of the line and lead the way out. Essentially be the bullet sponges in case there's an ambush outside. So they reluctantly do this. They get into the area where the Bradley pulls up. And as soon as the Elliot character walks around the corner, he trips a mine. And this is the whole plot of the film. It's essentially what happens after an ambush for a military group. And it shows the reaction of these guys in real time being blown up. You see one of the guys completely splattered. One of the Iraqis is completely splattered. And then the sniper and another one of he's like a veteran member of the Navy SEALs, but he's not a leader type. He's just been around for a while. He gets his legs blown up, and the other guy gets his legs blown up, Elliot. And one's knocked out, the other one's screaming. Realistically, I would be too. And so what happens is they quickly slowly recover themselves and try to get back inside the building. When they do, I'm also reading here that that makes sense. The son of Sopranos fame is actually one of the lieutenants calling in the Air Force special call-ins, Michael Gandolfini. But once they recover themselves, they try to pull their friends back inside, the one that's knocked out and the one that's injured, putting out a fire that's on his leg. And this explosive device is, I believe, a smoke shell. It was a Willie Pete smoke shell from like an artillery cannon. I don't know for sure, but that's what it seemed like because it shot off these big smoke plumes of white phosphorus. So they got hit by a white phosphorus bomb. And I don't mean to laugh, but it's just the worst thing you could possibly get hit by. You'd rather be hit by something else. And it establishes pretty quickly that these guys are all out of the action. The two leaders that got hit, the sniper, the other two guys with their legs blown, and the machine gunner. All of those people who are outside leading Elliot to the vehicle, they got blown up. Now, after this, they rush back inside. They pull their poor friend in. I think his name is Sam. Yeah, Sam inside, and he is in a bad spot. He's got his legs turned into basically powder, like mush. And they did an exceptional job on these special effects because these are realistic. I've never seen like combat footage to that degree, but I know what an actual injury would look like, and they are as realistic as they can possibly get without going and actually blowing the actor's legs off. So they've got these poor guys screaming their guts. Oh, one of them screaming his guts out, and they're moving him around, and they're trying to establish a link up with the Alpha team, Alpha 2 team. So they're gonna try to link up with Alpha 2 and exfil these guys that are injured. And their goal is to just exfil them, Castipack them as fast as possible so that they don't die, but they will stay around. They're not leaving with them. So essentially what they keep trying to do is call in more support. And when they call in these support, the APCs and other guys, they essentially say, no, we're not going to do it because of the IED threat in the area. To which they need a commanding officer to give them a order to actually do the mission. And because none of them are commanding officer, one of them actually has to pretend and fake that they are and call that in. And when he fakes it, the APC confirms that they're going to come back in. So the second time around, these guys are ready for it, though. They've got much more guys. They have a lot more support. And they actually show a few different forms of support, from the Bradleys shooting the tops of the buildings and Air Force kind of coming over and shooting and strafing the area. The movie does great. It ends pretty normal. I think that there was no real ending to it because this whole film is about an ambush. It's about an ambush between Iraqi soldiers or Iraqi militia versus Navy SEAL veterans. These are the toughest of the tough American soldiers that we have available. And it shows that they are just as human as the rest of us, that they are susceptible to fear, they are susceptible to damage, they get brain damage, they get injuries, and they're very human. And I like that this movie actually expresses that they are childlike in their nature. For example, early in the film, these two guys are doing the dance from the movie, or from the little film they were doing, where they were watching before they did the mission. In the middle of like a combat zone at night. And it's really funny because you get to see that. And there's another part where the main actor there, Cosmo, just stares at Ray Mendoza for like a second, and he does the weirdest face ever. And that's the truest military type like humor I've ever seen. Just very realistic, down-to-earth combat. And I really hope that films see this as an opportunity to make more films like this. I'd preferably like to see something that actually covers a larger conflict with a more focal view on it. Like, for example, I think Band of Brothers is a great one, but there's a few other shows, my brain's not fucking thinking, that have really good settings for this type of stuff. I love when they do realism in these movies because it's interesting in a way that I think like these fake action movies can never get. When a guy has 50 rounds in his magazine or whatever, and you know he's about to run out, that feels good. But when the guy's spraying and praying and he's got 1,000 unlimited bullets or whatever, you're not thinking about that. And I found myself thinking the whole time, I'm like, oh, that guy just used through a whole box of his ammo, and this guy's using up all his ammo. And they throw away their magazines each time they do it. So they make a point that these guys are running low. They even comment on each other's ammo count, etc. Like, these guys did some really good training for this film. And I just wanted to give it a shout out. I wanted to give it I think I should give these films grades because that will help wrap up these videos. I definitely think this is a 9 out of 10. The only reason it doesn't get that final point is because of the ending. I think the ending is kind of, it's the beginning and the end. It's like, it'll probably grow on me in time as I've watched it and I stew on it a little bit. But at the moment, I currently don't like it too much. I wish that it had a little more to it. I wish that there was a little bit more of an extension of maybe the finalizing of the mission or whatever it is, but it essentially just gets these guys back in the casevac and they're gone. And once that happens, the movie ends, and it shows like a title card showing all the people, and I do like that part. I think that's really nice. But I want to know you guys' thoughts on this movie. If you've seen Warfare, let me know what you think. If you're a fan, if you're not a fan, let me know. And if you got any movie recommendations, let me know in the comments below, as I will be sure to check them out in the future. Anyways, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.